Good day everyone, it's Pramita here again. Now, one of the common questions a lot of people ask me these days is that is it the right time to invest in various things such as properties, stock market or crypto? Now, before we go down in this path, I would like to ask you a few questions alongside with each and every one which I just mentioned earlier. And if you do not know the answer for majority of these things, or if you do not have a confidential financial advisor who can give you the answers, I don't think any of these is the right thing for you to invest. Now let me start one by one. Now for the cryptos, now before you go ahead and invest in cryptos just because your friend told you to do that, I have done it by myself earlier and I have burnt my fingers. I'm glad that it was a very small amount so I didn't lose my life savings. But if you are to go ahead and do it over a large sum of money, you had to be careful. And before you do that, just because your friend told you so, let me ask you a few questions. Do you understand the concept of mining bitcoins or mining any cryptos? Do you understand how the blockchain works? And do you understand how the authentication of transactions work in a cryptocurrency environment? And do you understand how the prices work? If you do not know the answers for majority of these, or if there is no one who can answer these questions in a way that you understand, probably it's not the right thing for you. Now let's move on to stocks. Companies are struggling, yet again, surprisingly, stock market is up. It's in a rally. Why is that? Because a lot of first-time investors are in the stock market without having a clue what they're investing in. Now, before you go ahead and invest in the stock market, let me ask you a few questions. Do you understand the difference between a value investor and a trader or a speculative trader? Do you understand the relationship between the intrinsic value or the actual value of the company versus the share price? Do you understand how dividends work and how reinvestments work? And do you understand how a compound interest would give you better returns over a longer period of time? Do you understand the concept of franking dividends and how it affects your taxes? Do you understand all the risks that you are taking into when you go down in this market? Now, if you do not know the answers for majority of these things, again, it's not the right investment for you. Lastly, on properties. What are your objectives in investing in properties? What type of a property that you are looking to invest in? Do you understand the difference between the residential property market and the commercial property market? Do you have a feel of how COVID-19 would have changed the property market forever? Do you know a list of suburbs that you would like to invest in? Do you have an idea about how the capital gains are going to flow through and how they are going to impact your cash flows? Have you considered your tax implications of these? Do you understand the difference between positive and negative gearing? Do you know the impact what a negative gearing would bring about to your cash flows and how it impacts your taxes again? And if you do not know the answers for these, then it is not the right investment for you. Then you might be wondering, if I do not know the answers for these, that means I can't go ahead and invest in anything. Well, the catch point here is that if you do not know the answer, at least you need to have a reliable, a strong financial advisor who would be able to advise you on. I'm not talking about those guys who are telling you, you know what, this property or this stock is going to go up by 10% within the next month. That is just a statement. You need to be able to substantiate it by facts. You need to be able to substantiate it by research. And if your financial advisor can't do that and whatever he says doesn't make sense, probably that's not the right financial advisor for you. So choose your financial advisor wisely if you do not understand how the variables work under different markets. Remember, there are a lot of first-time investors who are getting into the market without having a clue what they are getting into. And you are playing around with your lifelong savings. And if you want to play along with that, you need to first understand what you are getting into. And I have just thrown you some questions so that you could question yourself and see whether I really understand the risks associated with these and the rewards. So think about it before you burn your finger. Until I see you, enjoy.